Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check.
Where's Mike at?
I don't know. We gotta check him out though. Oh, dun, 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 dun. Are we live? Are we live yet? Are we live yet? Are we live yet? We're just out here like trying to feverishly work on our gear.
Just trying to get stuff ready.
You should have seen my pile of crap before we started here while we were doing the podcast. Oh, do you have anybody watching it? Does nobody want to talk about 360 fishing? Like, is that really the thing right now?
Yeah,
Kinda
360 fishing.
Yeah, who
With
needs
Cameron and Ryan.
I heard
Nah.
I heard only garbage fishermen use 360s.
Huh.
Yeah, and then I saw said boats using 360s the last couple of years.
I remember 10 years ago.
That is funny. Todd's like, oh crap, we were all wrong. No one picked 630. See, keep you guessing. We kept you guessing tonight, guys.
Hey, I remember when I put 360s on before anybody down there in that story, and everyone's like, oh, you're going to get your butt kicked. Oh, you're going to look bad in front of other guys. Now the whole fleet is running them.
I will admit, you were one of the first guys I ever saw down there doing it because I thought, well, we only use those up the river. Why would they work down here? They like bait down here. They only like triangles down. Oh, yeah, no.
I just fished them.
Apparently they like 360s down there, too.
I fished 360s since I was like 5 years old in the Puget Sound hotspot flasher.
Well, you should have been using it a lot later on. But that's the problem with 360s, man, because people, oh, there's everybody. Comments galore. Tri-Cities here. Hell yeah, Ridgefield. 20,000 fish over Bonneville in 2 days. Holy cow, yes, beat. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Lots of fish. Lots of good fish.
Yes, you guys know the drill. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're going to let this thing fire up for just a few minutes. We've got a special guest tonight. We've got some other cool things we're going to do, features with the live feed that's going to help Clint and is going to help us answer your guys' questions. We just don't, oh, that scared me for a little bit. But before we do that, we always want to give a huge shout out to Stevens Marine for sponsoring this live feed. As always, huge shout out to Stevens Marine for help servicing our boats. Your new motor.
Got
yourself a new motor there from Stevens Marine. Loving it. Yes, guys, they are the local regional experts by far. If you're looking for a boat or a sled or honestly anything on the water, check them out, Stevens Marine. They also got the largest line of fish fighter products there. And so whenever I go there, I'm always like, oh, I don't have that.
They got a really good selection of everything you need for a boat.
That is true too. But they do have the largest selection of fish fighter. If you ever want to go see it in person, head on down to that Tigard store. I'm sure Milwaukee probably has them too, but I know Tiger does for sure. Anyways, cool. Huge shout out. Thank you guys as always for the support. What's going on? Okay, we got Michael Mill from Beaverton, Colville, Stratford, Connecticut. Any 360 fishing over there, Stanley? I don't know, maybe for stripers? Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it, but why not? We should do a challenge. Like, what fish could a 360 like not catch?
You did see me put them out in Mexico last year.
Did you really? Did you catch anything on them? Anything?
No, but the bite wasn't that good. But I'll tell you what, they were a great attractor to bring other fish into the bait.
Yeah, so even though they didn't bite what maybe was behind it,
we were kind of trying to like live bait troll slow as we were trying to fish those. So there's a little bit of tweaking, but I guarantee you within the next little bit, I'll have them dialed in down there and hitting fish.
Sick.
Getting a mahi-mahi, dude.
Yeah. Sick.
Mahi, and what I'm really excited about, and a lot of people don't even know about them, is Sierra mackerel. And they're one of the best fish to make ceviche out of. And they run about like a summer run steelhead size, and they're kind of close to the beach, and you go kind of slow.
Aren't they kind of like Sierra mackerel? Aren't they kind of like wahoo?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, they're chrome.
Shows how many. I've never caught like fish in Mexico or anything like that. No dolphins, no mahi.
But yeah, they're really good for ceviche and
ceviche.
Where'd the mustache go? Well, I have a bunch of bow tags this year. I got an Idaho tag. I'm hunting elk in Washington with a bow, and I did not like my stash when I started shooting my bow. So
from your little kissing point, yeah. Gave you a little.
And it just kind of was bugging me with my face mask when I was down.
You were tired of everybody calling you Officer Dangle.
No one called me that for a long time.
You do look weird without it now, though.
Do I dare show the picture?
Oh, no. I was just looking for it because I'm pretty sure I have
I can send it to you.
I'm pretty sure I have
Come
it on.
It's all good sport. I mean, I got a picture of me like hitting a bead for a volleyball. Cry Cam, yeah, all of them.
No,
Come
it's
on.
not this one.
You got to play along, guys. Come on. Come on.
I tried.
Yeah, stripers definitely. I would try the 360
Yeah, I mean,
for stripers. They're
yeah,
very aggressive.
Yeah, like a live, like a swim bait or something, or a plastic bait behind it. Yeah, I could see a striper eating it.
I don't know if you guys see what we're doing. We're
I
tying
caught
up.
exactly one striper in my life.
He's cutting apart a pile of old leaders from buoy 10, just a mess from 3 weeks worth of fishing. And I'm tying up some
3
super
weeks.
baits for this overcast conditions and rain
Ooh, what's that?
tomorrow.
More like 2 days worth
Ooh,
of
and I'm
fishing.
excited. I don't know if you guys can see this one. This is one of the new ones that Brad's came out with. And it is a hitter, double Diablo, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I like
What's that
running
other
3
one? hooks. Something habanero mango or something?
Mango habanero.
You like running them like that?
And
Golly.
then just the standard Seahawk.
Well, hey,
Hard
don't
to
show
beat.
anybody. Don't show anybody that. Don't show that, because that's what we're talking about tonight. You guys wanted to bring Ryan McCon in here from Riverside Guide Service to talk some 360s, but this is going to be a little bit different live feed, because first off, we have a special guest we're going to get to in just a moment. But second, if you guys have questions, we want you guys. Clint has a request, and he wanted me to ask you guys. But if you have a question, I want you guys to type the letter Q, and then a couple spaces, and then write your question. And if you do that, then this way Clint can always search, because you guys, you don't understand like what we see on our side. We just see hundreds of comments pouring in, flying, and every week we miss great questions. So if you have a question that pertains to the conversation, if you hit Q, colon, and then whatever you want, or just the letter Q.
No, do Q colon, because
Okay,
any
he's telling
word
me to
with
search Q colon.
I don't really like how that
Some
sounds.
of you guys don't know what colon is, but
I don't
whatever.
like Q colon. That just sounds weird.
Anyways, to keep it easy, if you guys would do that, it would be great, because then when we need questions and we want to talk about certain things, we have a lot less likelihood of missing that really good question. So just like this question, are you coming to Erie this year? Yes, Todd, I'd love to go to Erie.
Yeah, except he did Q period.
Oh, you did Q period. See, this is why I think they should just do the letter Q.
Then
Search
any
it.
word
Try
with
it.
Q, I
Try
just
it.
did.
Try
Watch.
search Q.
Anything that has
Yeah,
Q.
but that's still sorted like a lot of
Anyone's
them out.
name that has Q, like, yes.
It's
that
still
is-
searched. It does work.
But if everyone just does
Just shut up.
Q colon, then it makes it
Okay.
way easier.
Well, if you do Q colon, and if you screw it up and you don't do Q colon, see, now look at that. You eliminated 70% of the questions.
Okay. Well, that's
And you guys really use it for the topic. Like, really use it to pertain to what we're talking about. We've got Ryan here. We're going to talk 360 stuff. So we have a real good opportunity tonight to take advantage of that. If you guys have any questions on some of that 360 fishing right now, it is going strong. 10,000, 20,000 fish over the damn in 2 days, 28,000 fish over in the last 3.
Coho went up to 36.77, I want to say.
Give me a freaking break.
Oh my God.
Yes. So, yeah. Okay. So Kevin O'Shea says quantum. Yeah. Okay. Guess what? You're going to get piled into the search, but we're not going to answer that.
No, see, look at. I think people are messing with me now. Look at Q period IS.
Q, is
Q
it
dot,
donut
dot, dot,
face?
Q question mark. Okay, you're not gonna get your question. No, I'm not playing this
Q,
game.
is it donut face? I forget. No, he got rid of it. It's gone. No more donut face. First guy that's like, Clint looks like he's got a white powder donut face. He's like, shaved it right off.
No, I went to actual work.
Oh, he said he had to go to actual work.
I had to shave.
Had
I had
to
to
shave.
look
White donut
professional.
face.
He had to shave to sit
That-
behind the
that's
computer.
what I
and
would
like,
say.
my name's Clint. Oh my gosh. Okay. I thought we were going to be on the water, Mick. Nope. I'm going to be honest with you. We're not on the water because the south wind was blowing really hard the last few days. And I did one day of it and I said, nope, I'm
Actually,
going
I was
home.
told because we're working on our audio for the live feeds on the water, and there's some new stuff. There's some new stuff coming, so it's a little bit clearer and sounds better on the water. I'm guessing next week we'll be live on the water.
we will continue to do live feeds, but we also have a special guest tonight that we wanted to bring in. He's partnering up with Addicted Fishing guys, and okay, why don't you get him in and then let's get that going.
You want me to grab that
because
those
it's super
products?
cool. Yeah. Why don't you grab that stuff? Don't show anybody. Kind of keep it hidden behind here. And then we're going to talk a lot of 360 fishing until we're tired and we want to go home. Because I actually do have to go, even though I did come home the last few days, I've got to go back down to buoy 10 tomorrow for a day. I had clients that kind of booked some lodging there, which is no big deal. Plenty of fish down there too, guys. Plenty of fish down there too. Ryan's going to be joining us as well down there. And then I think the rest of the week, man, it's going to be a little bit of pick your poison because the tides are going to get off. they're gonna get. It's gonna get filthy down there. It's
Yeah,
gonna get good.
I mean, we know we're going there tomorrow. We're going to go fish
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, but it's not the best tides. But by Saturday, Sunday, excellent tides down in Astoria. A lot of fish are going to be slowing down a little bit down there, and I think guys are going to be getting on them tough.
Yep.
But you can go anywhere right now, I think, from McNary Dam to Buoy 10
Yeah, literally.
and catch fish right now, you guys. They're everywhere. And the rain, I'm really excited because the colder water temps just keep these fish brighter. It makes them spunkier. Yeah, they might move up the system a little bit quicker than what we're used to, but the quality of the fish when they get to where they're going, like the guys in Idaho and stuff, are going to see the steelhead look better this year.
Because you would have to say that fish that swim further up the river are less quality.
No.
This is a side argument.
Hey,
okay, no.
takes
We're
more-
not doing this.
Not yet.
We're not,
It takes more gas to swim 500 miles than it does to swim 40 miles. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it does.
More body
It does.
fat, more
It
contact.
does. So it does. So do some of those fish that you like, that you and I always argue about, do they just like get magically transported from Buoy 10 like right to those dams that you like to fish in the summertime? Just asking. Moving on. All right.
Okay. Guest is here when you're ready.
Yes. All right, guys. Let's bring our. Yeah. You see, I think I melted his brain. I think he's like.
I think that lady's talking to you, Cameron.
Hello,
handsome.
Anyways, well, we're getting rid of her.
Ban her.
She's
Hang
obviously
on.
needs to get her glasses checked. All right, let's bring our special guest, guys. We're gonna bring her. Hey, Doug, welcome. Welcome to the Addicted Fishing Live Feed, guys. We have Doug from Zerofit USA. Why don't you introduce yourself real fast and let's talk about what we got going on.
Fantastic. Oh, great show, guys. First of all, my name's Doug. I live in San Diego, and I know you guys are in the Pacific Northwest where it's a little cold. I am the United States distributor, exclusive rights to all of the Zerofit product. They're the nice little box. It's the warmest base layer in the world. It's not a marketing tool. It's actually a fact. It's 4 to 5 times warmer than traditional base layers. It doesn't just work on compression. It works on frictional heat. It works on instant heat when you put it on. There's no restriction in it because it does have a 4-way stretch. And we have various products on our site. The Heat Rub Move, the one that you're showing now, is a little lighter weight one, so when it's not too cold, it's in the 40s and 50s. I'd recommend that. The Heat Rub Ultimate, the one underneath that, is when it's really cold. When you're talking 20, 30 degrees, that thing right there will keep you warm for multiple cold days, and you won't be disappointed. We do have a 100% money back guarantee on our products. If you're not happy, you send it back, and we give your money back. And we've had like 3 or 4 returns since I brought the product to America. It's a Japanese company. It's been around since 2009, but never sold in America. So now I brought it to the United States, and we mainly targeted the golf industry when we first got started. But now we're really getting involved in the motorcycle industry, and the hunting and fishing industry I know is a bigger industry than both those combined. And I think your fishermen are really going to go nuts once they put this on and wear it under their rain gear or their water gear, under their, what do you call those flood things that you wear in the water? I'm not much of a fisherman, but I am a fisherman. Waders. There you go. Those flood things. Those waders, yeah. You know.
Yeah, I think this product, you're going to see the top sales are probably going to be hunting and fishing once people find out about it a little bit more, you know?
Oh, I really do believe it because I know that industry is probably 10 times bigger than the golf and the motorcycle industry. So,
yeah, we spend more time out in the cold conditions in the woods and on the water, so
yeah,
excited to try it out.
So a couple things you talked about, because we had you on the podcast too, is that that some of this product is only like a 7% merino wool, but it's also
correct.
meant to have a really I'd just say a better wicking rate. Is because when we were talking about in the podcast, and I think that's going to be really important to the guys up here, especially like the winter steelhead fishermen, the fall fishermen. I mean, shoot, we're sitting here in the middle of August and we're already having like honestly days that are cold and wet and miserable. Like, damn, I wish I would have wore some more layers. So like kind of speak to that real quick as far as like the heavy wicking material versus like some of the other products that are going to really benefit the guys for winter steelhead.
Yeah, the benefits of the first thing is you don't need multiple layers when you wear this product. My recommendation is just wear this directly on your skin and wear your rainproof or waterproof gear on the outside of it. The first thing about the product is when you put it on, it's instant warmth. Not like traditional base layers where your body has to heat up and it traps the heat inside. it works on frictional heating. So as you're moving, and if you're walking up the hill as a hunter or fisherman, you're going to work up a little bit of a sweat. This has polyurethane in it, which is very unique and very different for a base layer, which causes wicking out through the material itself. And so you're not going to get the cold sweats once you stop and are fishing or you're hunting. When you sit down, you're not going to start getting cold because of the product, the way it's made. The thing I love most about it is it's a 4-way stretch. You really don't even know you have it on. People call it a second layer of skin, except for you're warm. And like I was telling people on your live feed, I wore it skiing in 8-degree temperature, and all I was wearing was a jacket and powder pants over it. Where I grew up in the Lake Tahoe area, and I used to ski with 3 or 4 layers on. And the problem with that is once you got on the chairlift, after skiing down the hill, you work up a sweat, and you freeze your little butt off on riding back up the chairlift. And so this product was phenomenal, and that's the one reason why I decided to be the United States distributor for the product. And they have, other products that are fantastic too. Like you saw, you had the socks there, unbelievable, one of a kind. It's not the merino wool. It's not going to smell. It's not going to get the it's not going to stay wet. One of my friends is a big duck hunter. And he says he loved about the shirts is he reaches his hand in the water to grab a duck, and his sleeve doesn't stay wet like traditional merino wool where it'll stay wet for a while. The socks, we do have them like there with or without the little knobbies on the bottom. For those are non-slip, so we have them without those if you like that. But personally, my wife uses them to walk around the house because they keep her feet so warm. So
nice slippers.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing too. This product's probably not going to be sometimes that pure merino wool stuff gets scratchy.
Yeah.
Especially like the guys hiking and hunting, and if you're wearing it as underlayers under your waders, it does get scratchy, especially if you're trying to chase marlin around the winter steel.
I've been using alpaca socks over the years, but the problem with the alpaca socks is they just wear kind of through quicker. I think they're a lot better than any of the wool out there. But I'm excited to try these and just see the durability and how much, because we fish every day in the winter, and see how much time I get out of the product.
These types of products are so important because this is literally the difference between like a good day of like winter steelhead fishing and having a good time and being comfortable and being, set and prepared for the day and not.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it, I'm a wuss. I am always cold. I'm a wussy. I'll just admit it.
If you're warm, you want to keep going. You're hungry. You want to fish. If you're cold, you're ready to put it on the trailer.
Your motivation level, if you're comfortable, goes up here. And I'm going to hike that hill and kill that deer or elk, or I'm going to go, hit another couple holes for winter steelhead. So it's really important, guys. We're super excited to try this out. We are going to be letting you guys know a lot more to come, especially as we get into these cold winter months, which pretty much, I guess, started here in mid-August. I don't know why, but here we are, global warming and all that good stuff I keep hearing about. Anyways, we appreciate you, Doug. One thing, guys, for those of you guys that want to try to check out any of this underlayer stuff as well, go check out their site at ZerofitUSA.com. And if you decide to purchase anything, let us know and go ahead and use our code ADX20 for 20% off any purchase there. So huge shout out to Doug and Zerofit, those guys, for hanging us up or hooking us up with that. What's that, Clint?
So really quickly, we got one more thing. They're giving away an ultimate base layer. So yeah.
Nice. And someone tonight.
Tonight
or just now?
Yep. So we will pick a winner. Hopefully everyone can hear me, but we're going to pick a winner.
Holy smokes!
And you're going to have to email us, and you're going to have to go to their website. You're going to win an ultimate base layer. You need to tell us what size and color and everything that you want. So you're going to have to go to their website, ZerofitUSA.com, take a look, whoever the winner is, and that's what you're gonna when we pick you, that's what you're gonna tell us you want, and we'll get that shipped out to you. So.
Well, shoot, guys. Well, there you go. So they're going to hook us up already. Someone with an ultimate base layer package, which I think
$99 value.
A $99 value. When do we want to? Zerofit sounds very promising. Heck yeah. I feel cold. It has been cold. Want to try, says Josh. Yeah. So like I said, this is such an integral part. This is literally as important as our flood things and our fishing rods.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it literally is, because we want to make sure that we're comfortable.
I think it's more important.
Well, yeah, right? Yeah, no kidding.
You go catch steel on a Snoopy rod as long as you're warm.
That's a fact. Yeah, you're not going to die either, so that's always good. So, huge shout out, Doug. Any last thing you want to say here before we?
Yeah, I just said there's nothing worse than being cold when you're doing an activity like fishing, like hunting, like skiing, anything outdoor. Nothing worse than being cold. And when you can be comfortable and warm and not restricted in your movements, it makes the experience so much better. And
I will say some of the base layer stuff I had before is very restrictive and honestly just obnoxious to wear. So like I'm really looking forward.
Well, I'm excited to try. I got the coldest I've ever been on an elk hunt last year. I have all the high-end Sitka gear, and I was wearing some other brand base layer stuff, and I wasn't impressed. And like you were saying, I felt cold underneath my Gore-Tex gear. You know what I mean? That insulated gear. So I'm looking forward to trying something new and stay warm out there.
Very cool. All right, guys, take advantage of that code 𝗛𝗟𝗣. Doug, thanks for tuning in and supporting Addicted Fishing, and there'll be more to come on this, I'm sure, as we go further into the cold, rainy season, which apparently started this week.
Yeah, and we're excited here at Zerofit, partnering up with Addicted Fishing, and we're excited about next venture. Thanks,
awesome,
guys.
Man. All right, thanks. Have a good night, Doug. Thank you. All the way from sunny San Diego.
Yeah, he said it was 82.
Yeah, like 82. I'm like, you ain't doing no product testing right now down there. But yeah, I got a whole like lineup set. Like I said, I'm a wuss. I am an absolute chicken. I hate being cold. I like winter seal fishing, but I hate being cold. So
you just get a little older and wiser, and we want to be comfortable.
Okay, we'll leave that one.
Well, let's get them commenting something and we can pick that winner.
Oh, well, real fast, we're going to answer this question from Pat Miller. Are these Zerofit products only available online? And I believe so. That was a great question. I wish my producer would have saw it when we had Doug around.
Doug's still on. I can bring him right back. He's still in the green room.
CV's back on. CV's back on.
Okay,
Doug, you still there? Hold on a second.
Yes, I'm here. When you call
there you
customer
go.
service,
Only online or available in stores?
Can you hear me? Yeah, when you call customer service, I am customer service, so I do all the shipping, I do all the packaging. We do sell our product in about 250 small businesses, mostly private golf clubs and things like that right now. But mostly 93% of our business is online only. And the reason for that is the brick and mortar stores. We don't have any brick and mortar stores. If you order it, I ship it. And like I said before, I have a 100% money back guarantee. If you're not happy with the product, you give me a call. I answer the phone. I'll send you a return label and send your money back to you. And like I said, we've had 3 people return their product in the first 3 years that I brought it to America. So it's quite impressive.
One more
product.
question for you, Doug. What's your guys' policy on if a guy has an issue with, say, some stitching comes out or something like that? Are you guys taking care of these products on warranty side for guys a little bit?
As long as it's not damaged by the customer, if they find any flaw in the product, you let me know right away. You call me. You're not going through a third party. You're not going through another person who doesn't know nothing about it. You're dealing directly with the owner, and that's me. And I handle all the customers themselves. So when you call the phone number on our website, it goes directly to me.
Perfect. That's awesome. Guys want to know that.
Yeah,
stuff.
and honestly, guys, it is. So if you do find them in retail, and so if you melt, I was just thinking, I was laughing. I'm like, well, if you melt it with a heater in the boat, that's on you guys. But no, you guys. But honestly, take advantage of that 𝗛𝗟𝗣 code, guys, right now, and check them out online at
I've never given 20% off to any customers. Sometimes we have a 10% discount, so this will last for about 1 week. 1 week to your customers and clientele. So if they're looking to stay warm, even if they're looking 2 or 3 months down the road, order it now, save some money, and we'll get those out to. And if you order today, it goes out tomorrow.
Perfect. I always talk about being prepared for these upcoming seasons. Well, here you go, guys. Awesome.
Thanks,
all right.
guys.
Thanks, Doug. Have a good night. This time we're going to let you go.
Okay, bye.
All right. But did you die? Says Robert McAllister. But did you die? No one died. No one died. Yeah. Real interesting product, guys. We met Doug at the Puyallup Sportsman Show. So he's been poking up around here in the Northwest. Jordan's been using some of this stuff. I mean, it's been summertime stuff, but they have some cool wicking and some other stuff. But
Jordan's been wearing it, I guess, for a while.
Yeah. So we've been definitely like trying it. But as we get into I mean, honestly, I would have loved to have a base layer a couple days ago.
I was just saying,
down in that store. I was freezing my ass
I was
off.
cold.
I was freezing. It was cold. All right. Cool. Let's move on. 360 fishing. Well, you just troll this little big flasher and you put something behind it. You stick a 12-ounce lead, and you just go out there and dump it in the Columbia, and then eventually a salmon just comes up and eats it. Your rod bends, and you reel it in. You go home. Game over. Done. It's that easy, guys. It is literally that easy. You don't have to do anything else.
Is that why there's 100 new guides this year?
That's why there's 100 new guides this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, running over boats and everything out there.
Yeah, crashing into people.
I mean, let's be honest. It can be pretty.
Everyone thinks it's easy anymore.
It's 360 fishing and it's easy. No, guys, there's a lot of intricacies to it. As you guys know, I'm sure you've seen us watch videos. We've caught tons of fish, but this is an opportunity to answer your guys' questions. We've got tons of gear, tons of flashers. Let's, you know, we're going to start with that Real Guardian because I'm even a little intrigued on how he's rigging some of these super baits sitting here next to me because I have to chase this son of a gun around the Columbia a lot.
That's the nicest you've ever said it,
when
Cameron.
I'm trying to, like, yeah, that is the nicest I've ever said it because I'm live in front of 400 people. You know, I don't necessarily want to be like, that son of a biscuit eating. Yeah, anyways, you get the idea. But
all right, where's the side cam? Let's look at
let's look at let's talk super baits, guys. We'll talk plastic baits first, super baits, spin fish, minis and stuff. But you're rigging this right now. And why are you rigging more super baits now? Because I mean, for me, the plastic bite, the tuna plastic bite is always kind of mid-September on, a little later on. But we've got mid-September weather right now.
I would say we have first week of October weather. You know, it's cold, it's rainy, it's overcast. Cold, every day it's dreary, it's foggy.
Temperatures, instead of that 71, 72. I saw someone said Bonneville was like 70.8.
Yeah, I was going to look.
But here's the thing, like, I do believe you got, you know, colder tributaries and river mouths. So what we're seeing kind of on our graphs, like where we would see our graphs reach up into that 72, 73 degree water, it's not even above 70 where we've been fishing the last few days. So it's kind of, I mean, I understand that the Bonneville thing is going to be more consistent and more accurate than just about anything else. But even
after the Cowlitz and Lewis water dump in down in Astoria, I haven't seen 70 degree water in a week.
Exactly.
It's been 68, I think, or 67 was the warmest I found, all the way down to like 56 on a hard push.
Yeah, I saw some really cold ocean water.
Yeah, 56 degrees, just cold. You pick up your lead, it's cold. Yeah. You go above the bridge, and all of a sudden I say, clients, that lead feels a little warmer, doesn't it, when you reel it up here?
It's amazing when you tell people, like, oh, my hands are cold. Well, just wash your hands in the water. They put their hands in the water, I'm like,
oh, it's warm.
Ew, it's like bath water.
Yeah.
Like old bath water. Yeah, so, but you're rigging super baits right now, and I see you got a bunch of them. So let's talk a little bit about super bait rigging because with these colder temps, I generally see the plastic bite kind of really take hold like mid-September kind of on. But you've been ripping them all season.
Yeah, they've been working. I mean, early when I first got down to Astoria, we had the water temp was a little warm. We had some warmer days, sunny weather, and spinner and bait seemed to be working good. Once these fish kind of have seen or rinsed in and out a time or two, seems like I get a little bit more reaction strike on the super baits. And with the weather, the overcast weather, that bigger profile, putting off a good scent, and it's just been working really good lately, you know.
The fish have been responsive.
And it's 2 weeks early for when we really start running them, but the weather's also 2 to 3 weeks early. So,
okay. Well, let's give us your like super rundown here on a rig because, like, honestly, I don't even go like a triple hook rig for these, but let's take a look at what. So
on the Columbia where we're fishing a lot, you guys.
Go side cam there, buddy, because this is like his main setup here.
Sorry,
we run.
I'm multitasking. My apologies.
Yeah.
I like running 3 hooks. I better say it. These barbs aren't pinched yet, but it is barbless on the Columbia, you guys. Brand new hooks. Make sure you pinch your barbs. Out in the ocean, I run 2 hooks, and I'll run 4/0 a little bit farther apart than what you see here.
How far? 1 finger, 2 finger?
It looks like about
I would say when I'm in the ocean, I'm 4 fingers. When I'm in the river with 3 hooks.
But out in the ocean, you can't fish that treble.
No, I'm running 2 hooks in the ocean, 4 fingers. In the river, I'm like 2.5 fingers. And then what I do, you guys, is when I tie my back hooks on, and I'm pretty OCD about how I tie my leaders. What I do is I stick that treble in the cavity there like that. And what I'm looking for is that first single hook to just come right past the tail. So if that fish comes up and swipes at it, a lot of times he'll get that. If he really comes up and grabs it, I'll get him with both the singles. Now, when the fish grabs it, a lot of times it'll pull out. I am not looking for this hook to hook the fish in the mouth. That I've rarely ever seen that. What I'm looking for is when that fish is fighting, I'll see this treble go up and stick it all in the top of the head, side of the head, and then this hook's in the corner of the mouth. When you interlock that barbless, that fish is not coming off.
Yeah, it pins them in there. We've always talked about gap spacing in between, even when you're doing double hook rigs for spinners, having a little bit of movement there. So if one hook gets a spot, that other hook can get another spot.
And that's what helps us with the regulations, you guys. It's not about getting one hook in the corner of the mouth. You're going to get a hook in the corner of the mouth, but you want to interlock that other hook so the barbless can't come out.
Yep. And this is your placeholder too. So the other thing about this rigging is you've eliminated all the beads and bobber stops and all the other.
Here's something that I look at, and this is another, I pay attention to a lot of details that a lot of guys don't. When I have help or I have guys repacking the super bait in my boat, they'll constantly be doing this.
Sideways.
Well, now look what happens. Now the hook's the wrong direction.
So show people how that eye's laying flat.
So the eye's laying flat. When I tie the leader, or once I put the treble in the cavity, you want to make sure that single hook is pointed outwards away from the body. So when it's spinning through the water and that fish grabs it, you're getting the full distance of the hook and getting the most meat possible.
And these are 4/0 or 3/0?
Those are 3/0, the new addicted hook. I just got them from you tonight out of your tackle box.
Gosh, I didn't know if you grabbed it. I told you, I'm like, well, there's 3s, 4s, and 5s in there. So
well, this is what I'm going to try first. I like the 3/0s. I like the thinner diameter and the penetration. These hooks are really strong. I'm not worried about them bending out. So I like them nice and tacky.
Gotcha.
Do you purposely tie the single the other way? Like you have the single going one way on one side and the trailer the other?
No, not necessarily. I a lot of times try to stretch it to where both the singles are coming the same direction. You can see that one's a little bit kicked sideways there. But in a perfect world, I'd like them in line.
Okay.
Well,
I gotta hook a fish, Clint. As soon as I hook a fish, I'll straighten them right out, and they'll be nice and straight.
Ooh.
There you go. So what else, I mean, so what colors here? Because you've got some of these other ones you rigging up over there. We're not gonna get lost in that tonight.
No, I mean, you can't go wrong with Seahawk.
So let's look at these three that he's tying up. Okay, you got like a habanero, a Seahawk, and a double Mexican hat copper. Is that what that is?
Double Diablo. It's
double
called.
Diablo. I don't okay, yeah, it's double Mexican hat copper.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want.
To go wrong.
I mean, but these are all very, very similar colored baits.
They're bright, loud, and proud.
Bright, loud, and proud. Okay, good night, everybody. No. So I mean, I mean, obviously, I'm just gonna say, like, you don't care. Color? Or do you care?
Yeah, I'm running, and a lot of times the reds are working good. Hot tamale. What's that other one called? The red one with the chartreuse on both ends.
Oh, either a Groucho or a cowboy or cowgirl.
No. I'm just going brain dead on what it's called. I just talked to Scott Paul about it the other day.
Reds and yellows.
Anything?
Maybe. Oh, I didn't even bring that.
Anything that is gonna. These fall fish are very aggressive. They're not like a spring Chinook or a summer Chinook that's looking to feed once they hit that warmer water. You're looking for that very aggressive strike. And a lot of times those very bright colors, it's hard to go wrong with rotten banana when you're down in Astoria area. Once they move up into the fresher water, the reds, the pinks, the more shiny stuff like this, I guarantee you this double Diablo in the river water that's 70 to 68 degrees is going to be a hitter. It just has that, we always talk about copper. Copper's proper.
Yeah, copper's always a freaking slayer.
It's a slayer this time of year, and I think a lot of it has to do with the color and the color of the light. Your sky is a lot of times that copper color, and that water's kind of a copper color. So I look at those things when I'm picking colors a lot of times.
Stand by, guys. I thought I had, did I not bring there's the leader box. Sorry, I thought I brought my whole box. Maybe I did. I might not have brought it, so that's on me, guys. But I thought I brought a whole box of other Man, I hope I didn't like do something stupid and leave it somewhere.
Is that
Knowing
what I
me,
saw
I
laying
probably
on the
did.
highway?
Anyways, shut up. Don't talk like that.
I did see a gallon Ziploc full of salmon scent when I got stuck in that bridge traffic in Woodland, and it was like someone's whole scent bag was laying on the side of the freeway.
No. Score. What about just to answer some of these other questions for people? What about minis, standard cut plugs, KCPs?
I like them all.
What's your favorite out of all 4 of them? What's the one if you only could fish one?
It seems like if I'm in a crowd, I like to size down because they're seeing everything. If I'm in a big crowd, like at deadlines or mouth of certain rivers, when you're around 500 different boats trolling, sizing down never seems to be a bad thing. Color, I don't think. You got to kind of play with the colors each day, and every day can be a little different. But I do really good on the kokanees out there, and it's the profile and the size of what we're running for spinners, you guys. So don't be shy to put those little guys out there and watch a big 30-pound Chinook come up and just swallow that thing. Main thing, I like running a bobber stop when I start sizing down in the mini cut plugs and the kokanees and a single bead or possibly 2 beads just to not slow down the action on it. I want that thing really spinning down
Those
there.
baits aren't big enough to turn all those hooks independently, so you have a bobber stop or something to space it off to.
And I usually run
I
2 or 3 out.
I'm going to stop you real quick because someone said it's not hard to trick someone said it's not hard to trick a dumbass fish that's easy or something like that. I was going to say this right now, guys. If you are sitting there out there watching this guy catch fish after fish after fish after fish and you're not, like, you cannot sit there and tell me that anybody that dumps a flasher in the water, there's a reason why 10% of these guys out there are catching 90% of them.
Yep.
There's reasons. And a lot of this has to do with the spin of your bait, the color profile, or excuse me, the colors you're using, the size profile. Like, there is.
And I'm going to say it,
there
Cameron,
is something to it.
In these
I don't
packs
care.
of boats, if your rods aren't thumping, you're not fishing a 360 right.
Okay,
straight up.
Speed.
Most of the time, the people I see that aren't catching fish are not running their gear.
It is not just a drop this bait in the water and you are going to catch them. And if you think that is, then you're more than welcome to join us in that fisheries, and we'll be happy to, as Ryan likes to say, break it off in you. There you go. So it's very, 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 very.
I was going to say there's a new term, but I don't think we should say it. There's a new one coming out.
It is very intricate. I'm telling you guys. So anyway, I just had to comment on that because it's like for someone to be just like, oh, it's just that easy. It's like it's not that hard to trick it. Well, I can tell you what, you're right. It's not that hard to trick a dumbass fish until it is.
Yeah.
Or until you watch that guy tricking the living snot out of them and you're not.
And I disagree, guys.
Sorry.
10,000 fish a day and there's 500 boats out there and you don't see a lot of rods flying a lot. I see those fish. I've had live scope for 3 years. You've had it for a couple of years now. And we watch fish just flying by all the boats, not even looking at their gear because they're going so slow.
They're not interested.
Or they're not interested. They just want to move. There's only fall Chinook. It takes that many to catch these fish.
I see some really great questions. So, okay, side note.
Let me answer one question I saw come because we're talking about rigging. Someone said, what size treble?
I was going to beat you to it.
On the original skinny super baits, I like a number 2. I run a number 2 KVD in the cavity. The size 4, I found bends out too easy, even in the double strength.
These are big fall Chinook this year. It's a big fish year.
If that hook does interlock with them, I want it to stay there and not bend out. The size 1s seem to be a little bit too big, and they're harder to get in the cavity.
It really is. And so what we really like to use is the size 2 KVD short shank trebles. And those short shank trebles are used for a lot of the crankbaits and popper baits.
And I'm not saying there's going to be someone on here that says, oh, number 1 and fits in it perfect because every manufacturer, a number 1 is different in every manufacturer out there. So I'm just saying in the most of the hooks that I found that were good in these are size 2.
How long of a leader? Give me that. Ooh, I'm gonna.
That one's not.
Oh yeah, give me that one.
Go for it.
Got him in tonight, guys. Got him in tonight. I'm getting all his secrets. This is good. Not that I haven't fished in your boat dozens of times, but you know. Hold on. Okay, I'm just gonna do a little quick. That's scary, bro.
And that's the same.
Well,
the good thing is,
apparently
you guys,
I just suck, and it ain't my leader length.
The good thing is good old Cameron measures from the back hook, which could be all over the place. I measure my leaders from the tip of the lure to the line that I tie.
But here's the thing. If I measure this the same way every time, I'll get the same.
But that's only if your gap's perfect.
Well, yeah, and it will be.
We don't want to talk about your gap, Cameron.
Oh God.
So, guys,
when I measure you guys, I go from the tip of the spinner of the lure and go to wherever, somewhere in this area. I like nipple, armpit.
Messed around at all with the bead chain and sidewalk. Can I show you the setup really quick?
I've ran a 6 bead chain and a single sidewash. It works good.
Underneath the rubber.
Yeah, and it works good, and I run it a lot in.
Mustads, I think it's been on big fish too.
Yeah.
When you know like they have that big flat top of their mouth and stuff, I feel like it's like it's either 50-50 or they're on the whole time. There's no mid-fight losing.
You know where I've had the best success with those is on spring Chinook on the mini cut plugs. I run a single bead chain with a sidewash, and that is absolutely my #1 hookup ratio on that. I think it lets it spin freer, and when I get that fish with a 4 or 5/0, it's game over. Yeah. He's either on or it's off. Yeah. It's off right away before the guy gets it out of the holder.
Well, when we get into the spinner stuff, we're talking, a lot of it's been double trouble. I don't want to jump ahead. But we'll talk. Well, yeah, I don't want to jump ahead. What pound test?
50-50-50 all the way.
50-50-50.
For fall Chinook, if you're not running 50, you're going to break fish off.
Facts.
100%. We all have tried it, Cameron, throughout the years of 360.
Ryan will teach you, Cameron. You just need to book a seat.
All the 360 fishing and the evolution of this fishing that, like I said, I started fishing a 360 flasher in the Puget Sound. And what I found in the Puget Sound when I was 10, 12 years old was the heavier leader. Not only do you not break off fish, but I truly believe it whips whatever the spoon, the hoochie, the spinner, or the super bait behind that 360. You're getting better action out of it when you go to that heavier line.
Well, there's right now, like the way the fish will eat 50-pound tests. It's not like with this presentation.
And I've never ran fluorocarbon in my life for fall Chinook. I don't care how far up the system they are.
They're not line shy. It's such a reaction presentation. It's not like a jig that's floating to a steelhead vertically, and the line. It's not. It's
no, and on the live we see
whipping
the fish. We see the fish come into the gear. I call them window shoppers. Or they're flag pulling your gear. You see them like that. 90% of the time, I don't care what you do, that fish is not going to bite. Yep. He's just hanging out. Yep. Now, when you see a fish charge in, he doesn't have time to think about it. He's charging in so fast, you just watch you go, okay, middle rod, here he comes, boom, there he is.
A little missile. Bang.
Comes in like a heat-sinking missile, right?
That's right. Go to some of our questions, Clint. Let's get on to some other topics here because there's a ton of them. This might have been bad. We already talked.
They're really on the Q thing, Clint.
Yeah,
They're
I like
on
that.
it.
I like that.
What?
What type of 50-pound line? Since you're talking, because you got a spool of it there, might as well show people because it's a thing.
We use really expensive line, you guys. This is really high-end line we're using here.
There you go.
It's like $7.99 for 275 yards of Berkeley big game. Can be found at Walmart.
I think everyone uses big game.
When you get to that size of line, it's not like you said, you're not trying to be finessey. You're not trying to be like stealthy.
No, and Cameron, I remember that one year you gave me a big spool of Maxima, and the problem with the Maxima 50 is it's too stiff. It would just tear my hands up tying it. I was having a hard time cinching my knots down as good. And remember, we went around at the guide camp, and just the softer big game works better. I think it has a little bit better stretch fighting fish. Especially when we talk about how we rig our spinners and how that line kind of gets in the treble. And I noticed I was breaking off more fish on the Maxima. It was stronger, but more brittle.
Yeah. No, it can be a break. I think also with that big game, it's almost like you have, it's almost like you have a little more like shock absorption.
Exactly.
Too. It's a little softer, more supple line, if you will. Quick question here: If the water at the mouth is 73 degrees, is it still who ought to try for a king downriver from the bank? Oh wait, that wasn't the one. Oh, 70. Oh, he said it's 73 degrees too hot.
No way.
Yeah, we catch fish over here in very, very warm
Man,
water,
some of those-
and they are receptive to
Some of
this
those drought
360
years,
fishing.
we've seen the water 75 to 77 degrees, you guys. And I don't like to see it above 75 because they always talk about, the biologists and the fish guys always talk about your oxygen starts depleting.
Too warm.
And that temperature, 75, is like a surface temperature, but that's a temperature that actually will kill these salmon.
Scary stuff. Scroll up real fast.
But it makes
before I get
those
to that
cold
one.
waters that dump into the Columbia just lights out because every fish wants to get his nose in that water.
Yeah, something like that. Don't talk about that stuff. Okay, go ahead and scroll down there. I think we got all that stuff on the stuffer bait stuff.
Stuffer
Or
baits.
at least Ryan's take on it.
I had a gal in my boat one time. I'm going to say it. She goes, "Hey, where are them tuna clampers?" I was like, "What did you just call those things?"
I mean, like, you know those flood things.
I
Those
just kinda-
flood- I mean,
All the guys in the boat kind of laughed, and we just shook our head, and we're like,
Doug,
"Yeah, we
Doug
have
was trying to explain to us what the flood things were, and we're like, flood thing, like waiters. Yeah, he admitted, he's like, I'm sitting in San Diego and it's 80 degrees. I have no idea what you're talking about, but those flood things are really cool.
All right, we got a good question here, you guys. When trolling 360, what's your preferred trolling speed, and what kind of action do you like to see from these rods? I don't think there's a speed we can talk about because we have current, we have tides, depending on where you're at on the Columbia. Now, if you're somewhere, and there's very few places we fish fall Chinook where there's not at least a little bit of current.
Yeah.
I want to see 1001, 1002, 1001, 1002. I'm not looking for this erratic.
He can't count past 2, guys. It's
Yeah, I
cool.
just start back at 1 and 2. But I don't want to see that rod just thumping away, overworking. I also don't want to see that rod where it's sitting there not moving. And Cameron, how many times have me and you called each other and go, "These guys are killing us because they just won't move."
It's all about that. You got to be all about that action, boss.
And it doesn't matter if you're running a Pro Troll, short bus, any of it, the Brad's Evolution Flasher, you have to get those rods thumping, and that's what reacts the fish, because if you've ever seen underwater footage of a salmon, they come in at an angle just like that 360 rolls over. So if it's not thumping, it's just sitting there going side to side like a dodger.
You don't want to give the fish, and you know we see this a lot. You know, there's a lot of correlation of, I'll just say it, some bass fishing stuff where there's times you want to be finessey and still, and you want the fish to come up and dissect your presentation. Like if you're hovering a bait of eggs, you want them to come up, get a whiff of it, take a little bite, see what's going on. And then there's other times you want to be the cat in the string. You want to be that string zipping by and make that cat react.
Hey, why does side drifting
think
and bobber dogging work? Because it doesn't give them time to think about it. They have to react
zipping
and
by
bite
them.
it or let it go by.
It's moving by them. And when the water is really, really clear, and it's near 360 fishing in the Columbia, and they can see for 10, 12, 15 feet to the sides, and they see that coming, the slower it's coming or the more dead it looks, the less they are to react to it, period. So, in other words, speed up. It was funny when 360s first kind of started getting really going around here. Like, you know, we would be out fishing, and that's where, like, Marlon's coined that. People would always ask, what bumper length? And then what leader length? But there was always go fast. So 24, 24, go fast. 24, 24, go fast. He's like, that's all it was just 24 bumper, 24 leader, and just go fast. And if you did those 3 things, odds are you were going to catch a salmon.
I truly believe you can go 20 and 52. As long as you're going fast, you'll catch more fish than the guy going 24, 24, not working his gear. Guaranteed.
If anyone's fished near
we
Ryan,
should
they
have a
know
challenge
that's
of that,
true.
you guys.
I don't know.
We should have random bumper lengths that your boat has to run and random leader lengths and see.
I feel like
have
this could be a video.
competition.
I
Who
feel
can
like
go
we
out
should
and
do
get
this
them.
or a video.
Random
We have
as
to-
hell.
I call 24, 24.
Yeah. No, I'd say what we do is we like put numbers in a hat, like between 20 and 100.
Oh, damn, I got a 36-inch bumper and a 42-inch leader. It's going to be a tough day.
Yeah,
Move out, boys, because I'm going to have to go
Yeah,
really
you're gonna
fast.
be going like 90 miles an hour to get
But
that thing
guess
to
what?
roll.
I guarantee I can get them bit.
I would
Guaranteed.
be willing to bet you could.
How often do you go through a kicker, dude? Your kicker is running So high.
Well, in 2 years, I have an hour meter I put on this one. I have 3,000 hours in 2 years on my kicker.
Yeah, but your 3,000 hours are at like half power versus everyone else is at idle.
They're not putting. It's.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're not exaggerating. Like
If you guys paid attention.
Good question for that one.
Which one?
If you guys paid attention a little bit, I used to
direction?
run a different prop. I went back to the standard 3-blade Yamaha that I run. I was running the 4-blade Honda, which does take a little bit of more RPM. I actually switch back and forth between fisheries, dependent. I'm like to be really in tune with my boat, and places like Astoria, there's a lot of current, so I like to back the RPM off, or I will be just winding that thing up all the time.
Have you fixed that rattle in the back of your engine yet?
It's just a TR1 on gold autopilot. That it's this little pin. It rattles. It doesn't matter if I put 5 kickers. It's still going to rattle the same.
What direction are you trolling? That's a great question there from Jacob.
Sideways.
Even though he didn't use the cue, like Clint wanted you to, so Clint's going to think not highly of you.
The only reason why we answered it is
you're
'cause
lucky
you
I
picked
saw
it
that
out.
question,
Yeah.
but it's a great question. What direction do you troll during the outgoing and incoming, and why? Because sometimes, I mean, you control any direction during any tide, and sometimes you do want to hover, but there's
that's a real broad question, you know.
Right, but there's certain things you want. It's not just a matter of like, oh, if the tide's outgoing, I troll outgoing. If the tide's incoming, I troll with it incoming. There are times you want to troll against, but there's certain things you need to look out for when you're doing either one.
Boats is number one.
Besides boats.
Watch out for boats if you're going against the current and a bunch of guys are trolling downriver. The other thing is that proper thump that I talked about. That proper thump is going to be the most important going against the current or going upstream. A lot of times in Astoria, we're going backwards on a hard incoming tide. And we're flying backwards instead of trying to holding it, because if you try to holding it with a 360, they're just thumping so fast you're never going to get bit.
You're facing into the current, but the current's pushing you backwards. So all your gear's behind and you're just sliding backwards, because at the end of the day, outgoing, incoming, whatever, you need to make sure you're trolling whatever direction and whatever thump that the flasher is telling you to do, period. And I even had to remind myself that a couple times, because during those slacks down there, or during those switches, you'll get these current layers where for 15 feet, your rod will just be thumping at the surface. And then if it gets down 30 feet, it just dies. And what that is that's top current flowing over that, that middle range, that middle depth down to the bottom. And your gear's sitting down there, but if that rod ain't thumping, it's not working.
And you really notice it for us. We're running 6 rods, and we're running at 3 different depths a lot of times on those. And you'll watch the bow rods overworking, the middle rods are thumping perfect, and your back rods are just dead.
So you put everything in the middle rod depth.
So you bring those up, you find out what depth that thump is proper, and generally speaking, that is where the fish are running.
Yeah.
And you can see it on, if you're in tune with your electronics, you can see it on the electronics, the current layers down there.
The only thing I'd say about up here is, like, a lot of times, at least up in the Portland area, we troll with the outgoing tide, because a lot of times the outgoing tide will push the fish deeper. It'll lay them onto the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And it's really difficult to troll against it, even though you can push against it and get the proper thump. Even with 20-ounce leads, you have to string your stuff out so far, and then if that current pushes you back a little bit, your stuff just falls. Or if you speed up too much, it really planes out. So it's harder on a big outgoing tide to keep your gear where the fish are at, which is like right along the bottom, not on the bottom, and not way above them. So it's a little difficult. So a lot of times on the outgoing tide, at least up in the Middle River, when it starts flowing, we tend to go with it, just because we can keep those thumps and we can keep everything kind of. It's just a lot easier to maintain the right depth.
Guys, I love trolling downriver with the current, whatever ways it going, or when it's going with it, because the fish are facing into the current.
Yeah.
So if they're facing in the current and you're going downstream, you're covering a lot of water, and when that fish turns to go chase that gear down and bites it and turns back upstream, it is hands down the best bite there is. It just hammers that rod down, because he's hanging himself trying to turn back upstream with the lure in his mouth.
They're even more reactive, because not only is the flasher spinning and moving all that stuff and they're moving into it, but it's also like zipping by them completely. I mean, it's the same reason why we downstream.
They're like,
troll.
oh, school of fish. Oh, I got to follow them. Oh, man, the spinner. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, no time to think there. Yeah. You'd be a dead salmon.
I would be a dead salmon. I'd bite everything.
I'd be the dead salmon too, for sure.
So would you, Jordan. You're not aggressive, are you?
All right, another question here. If you have to err on speed, go faster or slower. Ben.
Always speed up. Always speed up.
Ben. You know Ben. Always speed. I'd say go. Guys always say go a little bit faster. And when it comes to lead, I'd say always add a little more lead. Definitely some things to help keep that line down in front of the fish.
If you're Ben, just drive to the lot, get in your truck, and go home.
Okay. Does that mean even on a hard outgoing, you are still trolling downstream, even though your ground speed is screaming? D. Larson, a lot of people focus on their GPS speeds on their boats. And there's been times on even rushing incomings on the Washington side there down at buoy 10. I remember Evan and I last year, we got into a bite. We were looking at our ground speed. We were going 6.5 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And we were trolling with the current as it was just bombing in. We were making passes in the middle of the river from like the fort to the bridge in like 15 minutes.
That's one of
6.5 rods are going like this. You're just flying over there, and fish were just.
That's one of my favorite
rushing.
trolls is going with it in the deep water, running shallow, and just whacking fish while everyone's holding at the bridge, all on top of each other.
So again, like, and then there are times too where that ground speed says you're going backwards, or your boat's facing this way, but you're sliding back.
0.2, 0 miles an hour.
Stop giving a crap what it says.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do. Don't try to go 3 miles an hour all the time. Don't try to go 2.7 all the time. Do what the flasher is telling you to do. The end. You could literally take my GPS speed off the back of my boat, or off take my putt, get rid of it, and I guarantee you I'll probably still catch as many fish because I'm never looking at it. The only time I'm kind of looking at it is that if I'm trying to figure out what after like a slack when the current's speeding up, things like that. But that's all I'm really using it for. It does not matter. Even if you're screaming downriver, downstream, 6. I remember Nick and I got into this bite at Hammond, like in the deep water last year, and it was just the opposite. It was on the outgoing tide. We were sticking them down at 40 on the counter. Just honestly, we were just putzing around waiting for the tide to stop. We're like, oh, let's just shove them down the deep water. Just go down the middle of the channel. Like, oh, we're kind of waiting for this to slow down.
Yeah.
Just 6.5 miles an hour, just burying
ripping
fish.
on them.
And it's like, okay, that's what they want.
Red can line's good for that too. You're flying downstream rods.
Oh, yeah, Hammond, that's what I meant.
And here's one thing I'm going to tell you guys, and this is whatever you want to call it, the 5 or 10% that a lot of guys aren't doing and having troubles with. When you're fishing those hard outgoes or those hard incomings down in Astoria, make sure you bring your RPMs up on your kicker, deploy your tackle at a higher speed, and then back off and get your thump proper. If you don't, you will constantly be tangling your gear and rat nesting. Is rat nest still a thing?
Yeah. Oh, it is.
No,
my guys yesterday.
Look at you guys.
No, those are all from fish those are all leaders that got destroyed by fish. There's no pigtails and curly-tailed line in there. Those are all leaders that have just been wrecked the last few days. So, I'm trying to salvage some hooks.
You guys better start tipping Cameron better. He's recycling hooks now.
I'm recycling hooks because I ran out already of my trebles. That's what I was really after. That's why I need some trebles. Like, get out my trebles.
I robbed a few from him tonight, you guys.
You dork. What best scent? So we kind of talked about using the mulch in there, but are you scenting your spinners? Are you kind of a scent guy, or?
I'm a presentation guy this time of year, you guys. Spring Chinook are very big, very scent oriented. Summer Chinook are also scent oriented, colder water temps. When the waters get to the temps we're fishing these fall Chinook in, you guys, I've rarely seen a scent overperform proper presentation. And
it's not, just because if you put a scent on a spinner that's not working and a flash that's not flashing, it ain't gonna help.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. They're reacting.
But yet you put. But here's the question for you though. Would you just fish a super bait without tuna then?
I have.
Well, would you? Right now, be honest. Be honest. The answer to that, I'll help him, is no. He would never do that.
But so generally, we're fishing these super baits more when the water temps are dropping down a little bit.
Right. But tuna is different than scent. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. to his bait.
Isn't that
It's all anyway.
Hey, what did that
You
celebrity
heard
say?
your
Isn't that
answer.
chicken of the sea?
Hey,
There's chickens
hey.
in the sea.
You heard your answer. As far as like the hierarchy, like okay, making sure your stuff's in front of the salmon, make sure it's being presented right, size profile, color, speed, all that. Like scent is there, but I feel like it's down in like the 7th or 8th thing that I'm worrying about. But I will say, like in finickier situations and in concentration situations, scent does matter. Especially when there's a million little gold spinners flipping
I'm
around.
not saying it doesn't help some people. It's not my thing. I'm going to start switching colors and size of blade, shape of blade, color of blade is what I'm going to do. And I know you do the same thing.
Yep. No, try to figure out what makes them tick for sure.
Yeah. I guarantee.
We've been going for an hour. Let's do this.
The giveaway.
Zerofit.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
And while you're doing that, we also have to talk about this giveaway.
Oh, jeez, I didn't know about this. Oh, thanks for letting me know, producer Clint. I've been on the internet all day, so I have no idea what the hell you're doing.
We're in the group text. We all got it.
Yeah, I was busy.
That's why I'm doing my
killing
job.
stuff.
I'm
what
doing
we
my
do. Murder.
So,
okay, go back to the regular comments. All right, guys, let's talk about this.
We got to do this though. They're gonna have to go to the website. Well,
what are you doing? I don't know what you're doing.
Let's do the Zerofit giveaway.
Okay. All right, guys. So because we got sidetracked and we talked for an hour after that, how many of you guys want to win a Zerofit $99 under base layer? I don't know what to call it. I'm really tired. If you can't tell.
Exactly that.
This should have been coffee, not a Gatorade. Sand shrimp and krill. Can we get Cam and Clinton video again? Oh, yeah, Todd, we're gonna. I fished below McDairy today, 70 degree water, no takers. Give it away now. Me. Do you use certain scent in different water temps? So, BMAC, I think what we were going to get into that conversation is as temperatures get cooler and they kind of get more into that mid-60s, low 60s, I think scent is a thing. And he was even kind of mentioning, too, why springers are so receptive to scent. I think it's because, well, they're a little fresher fish from the ocean, a little more bitey in general, but I think that water temperature has a big thing to do with it, to the point where as it even gets colder, that's when we'll start, even in the fall, for coho and for Chinook, you'll start tipping your spinners with like little millennial coon shrimp, all sorts of good stuff there too.
I'm not saying bait or scent doesn't work this time of year, you guys, but if you're targeting fall Chinook over coho or steelhead, stuff like that, a presentation is going to be the king, and that's what's going to make you produce.
Your scent ain't going to help you there, bud. You could have the wrong colored spinner and the wrong scent. As long as it was going whipping by them at the right speed and at the right depth, you probably still have a better chance.
And the reason why that is, you guys, is because that fall Chinook, it comes in more developed than a Springer. It's eggs, sperm sacs, everything. He's a little bit more in the hunting world in the rut mode.
Yeah.
He's ready to rut.
A little closer to the spawn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That spinner that was on my... Oh, scroll up real quick because I want to see what Jim had to say. That spinner on my rod was hot earlier in the day but didn't do anything the next day. After Cameron changed it, hooked 3 fish in 2 hours. Yeah, that kind of stuff is critical. Jim fished a couple days with me, and things get hot and cold. Temperatures change, and then also too, I think what that was, if I can't remember right, but I bet I was probably fishing more of a spinner for warmer temperatures, and then we had to fish the incoming push or something like. So I'll switch stuff around a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give away this. Color and presentation is king. Presentation is king. I wouldn't say color is. Color can be king. But there's a reason why, Jared, you sell a million different colors, right? Because they all do kind of tend to work. Is there a color that you would not fish? Like, is there a color that I could create a color pattern that you say I would never catch a salmon on that?
In a spinner?
In a spinner.
I think every spinner will catch fish at certain light and certain water.
So no, the answer is no. So if I gave you even a black bladed spinner, you think you can catch
I guarantee you I'll go catch fish on it.
That's my point. So I do think color is a thing for sure, but I think presentation is more of a thing by far. Because if it's not spinning enough, they ain't gonna buy it. Like, what's this thing laying on the bottom? Anyways, let's do a winner.
Beauty of being a guide, all them rods, try different stuff. They're right. We have 6 rods out daily, and we can figure it out.
When you sit in my boat, you never know if you're the experiment or if you're the rod that slayed him. And I can tell you what, that's even more aggravating about fishing 6 rods. And you'll agree with this, I know.
Oh yeah.
why the hell did this rod catch all the fish yesterday and it won't get a bite today? And I tried to mimic it on all these other rods and it doesn't work. And then that day, like, dude, that's
especially this year, you guys, the weather is all over the board. So, like I tell my clients, this one was really hot yesterday. That means nothing for today.
Yeah,
that was yesterday.
It can mind screw you really bad having that much going on.
Pay attention if you're on the water a lot. That spinner or that color will come around every couple days when the weather's kind of all across the board.
Black is one of my favorite. Caught one on a black bladed. I'm just okay. I'm gonna make a purple polka dotted with a yellow stripe and a green fade and silver glitter.
Coho hitter.
Okay,
that's a coho killer.
I'm like, I don't think I can make a spinner blade that Ryan would not catch one on. But I guarantee if your presentation sucks, you won't catch them. I don't care what color. I don't care if you got the best color in the world.
Can you give me some color ideas that I can catch?
Yeah, I got some for you. Clint.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah.
I thought you run rainbow everything.
Brown and red.
Ooh, I like it.
Rainbow. Let's pick a winner. We got lots of great comments. Scroll it up. Let's do it. Randomizer, go. This is for the Zerofit base layer package, guys. Base layer package. Garrett Oberfelder. Well, congratulations, dude. You won the Zerofit base layer package. What we're gonna do with this is I think you need to go on the website, kind of pick your colors and pick your sizes, and then email us at orders@addicted.fishing, and we will coordinate that with Mike and Doug and get that out to you. So congratulations, Garrett Oberfelder. You're going to be a lot warmer this winter, I hope. Yes.
So tell us if you want the mock or the crew neck, what size you want, what color, and then what Cameron also forgot, include your address.
Oh, and really include your address. Yeah. We'll get it taken care of, guys. We'll get it taken care of. Yes, sir. So congratulations. So, what was the other thing? Oh, let's look at that Stevens giveaway, and then we're gonna talk some spinner stuff, guys.
Yeah. So Stevens giveaway. Let's see if this works.
There you go. Fish fighter giveaway. So huge fish fighter giveaway. Enter to win the following 6 products. Holy smokes! I can already tell you that's like a $300 package there. Has a fish fighter giveaway products going on Instagram. Be sure to go enter to win a prize pack containing all that cool stuff.
Yeah, so it's on their Instagram. Oops, I'm not.
What do they have to do to enter, Clint?
So they have to go to their Instagram. And on their Instagram.
Do you have a mic on?
I do, yep.
Okay.
So you have to go to their Instagram account, look for Stevens Marine Media, and I think it has you like tag. Ooh, what's that noise? Tag people in it. I don't know, but I should have pulled up their Instagram, but I just know where it's at. So go to their Instagram. You'll see it tells you what to do right in the post. Look for this post, follow the instructions, and you'll be entered to win.
And you'll be entered to win. Well, that's
Cliff says, "What happened to the stash? It had to go."
Officer Dangle has left the building.
Bow season. Huh?
I miss the stash. I can't remember. I think
my wife, she didn't like it at first, and then it grew on her, and now she's upset it's gone.
What is his name? What's Hoberg's first name? I forget. Up at Clouds. What's his Derek? Darren. I'd go by him. I'd be like, "Hey man," I go, "train Ryan on making that thing a real stash."
Oh, Dylan.
Thank you.
Dylan.
I'm so freaking tired tonight, guys. Yeah, I'd go by Dylan, and be like, "Man," I go, "help Ryan with that stash. He needs it, man." He's
got his stash still going. I was talking on the way down here. He's still rocking the stash.
That's a real stash. I don't know, man. You were
But he might cut it off. He's got some hunts coming, and it kind of gets in the way of your face mask.
Oh, no.
No,
not the stash. Anyways. All right, guys, let's talk about some spinner stuff. We've got a few minutes here. Don't forget. Oh, you already got the have your question thing on there. That's cool. So spinners. Let's kind of dissect a spinner rig here. This happens to be kind of one of my favorite ones for buoy 10. Go to side cam there, bud. Bada bing, bada boom. Buoy 10 spinner. Hoochie spinner, if you will. As you can see, got a treble hook. And then what we were talking about earlier, I kind of resorted back to that single hook. The main reason being is that with down there having to release a lot of fish, we are catching a lot of fish. Like
even upriver, you guys, I went to it because those trebles, here's my opinion on the double treble setup. If they're just swiping at it, you're not getting the hooks really buried deep down in their mouth. And when the fish is fighting, the trebles will kind of tear and rip and pull their way out. I noticed with the single, like Cameron's showing you here, that back hook would just be nice and deep in the corner of the mouth or through the chin. And once it's locked in, I feel like I was landing more fish with the single trailer.
So I do like using a lot of hoochies on fish that are fresh, like fish that are really reactive. They want to see something bright. They haven't seen spinners before. On even upriver fish that are fresh, that are piling through. I'll just tell you right now. I can tell you, like even today, they loved hoochie spinners, even up this far. It's not a buoy 10 thing. It's not a hoochie. I'll even use hoochies up at above Bonneville Dam.
I think it's a profile thing. If they're into that size, they're into it.
Yeah. So
if they're finicky and it's hotter and sunnier weather, I think they go off the hoochies. You'll see that hoochies work good early in the morning, lower light conditions.
That's a small hoochie though too.
It's a huge hoochie. What are you talking about?
That one is 1.5 inches. It's 1.5 inches hoochie. But what I do here, guys, but what the takeaways here is that I've just gone to that single just because with a 1-finger gapping, just for the same thing. I'm hoping that fish, when he comes up and slashes at that spinner, if he gets that addicted salmon hook buried in his jaw, and then that treble finds another little spot on him, like it's over. Barbless hooks, barbed fisheries, it does not matter. We also understand that just because some of the Springer fisheries we are allowed to use barbs. And ultimately, if you don't fight the fish correctly and you don't do kind of the things, you don't have them rigged correctly, you're going to see a lot more fish loss than you do. But because we are having to go through, that's good, Clint. We're having to go through so many fish down the lower river. We're catching so many. I don't want to have to go out and blow up 20 to 25 liters a day.
I almost went to double
treble
singles this year. I just had so many leaders tied on my treble single setup or my double trebles that I'm kind of burning through what I had tied. But in the reality, I think down in that catch and release fishery, are we calling it?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a catch and release fishery.
Double single hooks. Clients aren't stepping on the trebles, breaking them in your boat.
Oh,
they're easy to release them. You can just kind of sit there, pop them out instead of, when you net that fish with that treble, that hook's going to get hung up in the net, kind of tear on that fish a little bit more. So I was almost
2 trebles in a fish's face is awful. 2 trebles in your net is even worse. It's like, so you end up cutting a lot of leaders out. I mean, some of these leaders I can catch multiple fish on them, and I'm not afraid to because I'm still tying these with 50 pound. I'm still using a size 2 KVD short shank mustad treble hook with a 3/0 or a 4/0 addicted salmon hook behind it. A couple beads there just so I can get some clearance, and then a small clevis to just allow that blade to spin on the monofilament. Another thing too, somebody had a great question, hard versus soft spinner. What he's talking about there, guys, is basically a spinner that's rigged on a wire or one that's rigged on line like this. And again, just kind of going back to that, okay, I'm just going to say it, we catch a lot of fish. I
haven't ran a wire spinner in probably 6 to 8 years.
After a couple fish on a wire spinner, you're going to get them kinked. They're hard to kind of get them back.
You have to actually tune them to get them to run straight, where the soft line spinners, they're constantly running true.
And the biggest thing about the soft versus the wire is I've got that second hook hanging there. Now, there are a couple ways to rig wire spinners, I understand, with a second hook.
It's a pain.
But it's a pain.
It's a pain.
And the benefit does not outweigh this little guy right here. So blades.
Now, one thing we better tell everybody, because someone's going to say, well, I tied it on and it cut it off and nicked my line.
Yeah.
Be careful on the clevises you guys are using. There's a lot of good plastic ones out there, solid tied plastic I like, or these metal interchangeable ones, but make sure they're the heavier kind of spring rate or you will be losing blades. The ones you don't want to use are the solid, non-interchangeable metal ones. They will cut into your soft line.
I might have a couple different styles here.
Oh, yeah, see
how How long would you run that metal one before changing your leader?
These metal interchangeable that Cameron has here, they will never put a nick. They're rounded on both sides. You won't ever see a nick. Once on a warmer water year, we've seen a lot of that green slime that comes out of the dams and and gets on your line.
So these are the two I use right here, the little spring-loaded ones from Worth Company, or the little 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪 plastic clevises. Obviously, the one on top there, you can interchange, and then the one down below, you just have to tie per your leader blade. But since we talked about it earlier, we do a lot of blade changing as we're going through the day. It's kind of nice to have those interchangeable ones.
And that's size 1, right?
That's a size 1 small from Worth Company.
Yeah, and they've over the years, Cameron, all of us friends have kind of played with these interchangeable ones and worked it down to this one, and we're not losing nearly the blades on these ones.
You're not losing the blades. They're cheap if you get them in the right spots.
Yep.
And what you don't want to do is use the clevises that are the ones that are being used on the wires and interchange those into the monofilament. That will burn your line eventually.
You will lose fish.
I got a story about that.
And then one other thing, you guys, a lot of times when you get that green slimy stuff on your line, and actually, Cameron, I learned that trick from you, is put a little tiny bead above that clevis, and it helps keep that stuff out of your clevis to keep your blade spinning proper.
Yep. Mic drop. So any questions on the spinner, guys? So 50-pound test. Let's play a little
Where'd
game
my
here.
flashers go? We're going to...
Hey. I mean, to the T. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I do, so I know. Is that right? Can you tie? You need to tie a couple spinners up.
It's about an inch off, but you know.
Like short or long?
It's an inch short.
No.
You've been hearing that most of your life, right?
Just from your... No, Never mind. Bearing bead or a
I haven't hung out with Cameron. We've been real busy, so I gotta harass him a little bit. You guys, it's what we do, and it's why it's fun. And
would you ever run spinners without flashers?
Oh yeah,
just straight spinner.
Straight spinner.
Bait and spinner. When are you gonna do that? When do you do that?
If you're hovering certain on fish, stacked on fish, holding on fish that are stacked up in a big group, it works great. When have I done that lately? It's been a while.
Okay. But good question.
Here's a couple I'm throwing out tomorrow morning. I'm starting out my day with these.
Yeah, let's talk flashers here a little bit.
And these are some of the limited ones we had. What was that? Not this year, last year.
Last year's,
at the shows. They had a little bit of UV tape. I run some with the UV, and I peeled them off. Got a little bit more chrome shine on them.
It was like the crinkle. It had like the crinkle whatever on it.
Yeah, it has that UV crinkly tape on one side, but as you can see, a lot of chrome. Overcast, rainy conditions, Astoria tomorrow. I'm definitely going to have some brighter chartreuse stuff out. Bigger profile, trying to get their attention in this overcast conditions. It already has Cameron. Look at him. It's got him. What do you think about bumper length on those?
I already know bumper length. We're good on that.
You already know that.
You don't switch out these to a 6-speed chain?
No. Actually, I need some of these right now.
Get out of there! Jeez. Oh, but you run the bead chain on your leaders.
I run a bead chain on my leader. I run the dual lock on the flasher. Yeah. A lot of people...
I don't like these.
I tie my bumpers on my flashers. I have a lot of different ones tied up. Keeps my bumpers fresh. Are we going to talk about bumper line?
Yeah, what pound test do you use for bumper line?
50.
50.
You can go 60 big game. I never see my bumpers break, and even though I use the same leader and bumper size for 360 fishing for fall Chinook, the only time I've ever seen my bumper fail is A, we got twisted up with grass and put a kink in it, or B, I'm in a pack of boats, we're yelling at somebody, hot fish coming through, and they disregard, and it tangles all their gear and breaks us off.
Yeah.
Or I remember that one time I had a fish, 35-pounder, at the deadline, smash into the side of a fiberglass boat. on the surface, rip onto the other side, smash into an aluminum boat. As it's going, this
Just
lady's
bouncing
holding
through.
on, the drag's tight, and I'm yelling at this guy that has his main down, trolling with his main in the pack of boats.
Perfect. Yep.
Fish is coming at you. Shut your motor off, neutral your motor, and boom, into the motor, gone.
Did not neutral.
And the lady.
It was spare parts.
The lady started crying in my boat, you guys. It was a full-grown woman, and she is bawling. And she's like, oh, that fish was so big. And I go, she's like, what could I have done? I said, absolutely nothing. That fish was crazy on the surface.
It was an act of God, and that
ripping
fish was
and
wild. Yep.
What knot do you do then with 60? Because tying knots with 60 big.
I use a standard clinch knot.
Double clinch, baby.
I don't use a double clinch on them. Standard clinch, and I
Never mind.
I leave an inch tag, and I make sure I really cinch it down. You guys, you'll watch it'll move. I wet it. You can either tie it in water, or I just wet it with my saliva, and make sure it's cinched down because they will snug up. And I've seen where guys cut their little tag end too short, and it boom. Next thing you know, you got curly line.
Well, that's why I think Jason leaves his tag ends so long.
I
Have you
don't
ever
think
fished
so.
with him? His tag ends are like that long.
That would drive me nuts.
I'm like,
I'm OCD.
what is that?
Can we zoom in on my
What the-
side cam?
Side cams, yeah.
Side
Hashtag no tag ends.
What I heard though was you got to give it the 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗣.
Yeah. Hot tuds.
So
And
I don't know.
tighten
Can we
that
see that
up.
there?
Yeah, they get the idea.
But that's after I made sure I cinched it down, wrapped the line around my hand, and I know that knot's not moving.
All right. Probably one of the last questions for the night. Dropper or no dropper on your weight there, bud?
Never a dropper.
Never a dropper. No, Nick Popov will argue that till the day he dies.
You know what a dropper line does?
What does a dropper line do?
It creates grass and more debris to catch on it, and then your dropper swings up, and a 360 is going to bring the fish to the gear. He thinks it's other fish. If you're presenting it
Well,
proper,
he says it adds a different pivot point, even though like it really can't because the weight's all hanging on that clip, whether it's hanging down from a 6-inch thing or not. But he says it makes the flasher act different.
Nick also runs a lot of triangle flashers where they haven't been in my boat in 10 years. Now, I'm not saying they don't work at certain points, and droppers, I guess if you're pounding
He catches plenty of them.
yeah.
So again, is it kind of like one of those things when we like?
I think for your general guy, it's going to create more tangles, more problems, and keep it simple and go out there and troll them proper and go catch a bunch of fish. I've never seen you run a dropper.
I'm not a, no. I was just asking the question because this guy put a Q in front of his question, and we searched it, and I saw it.
Now, if you're in a shallow tributary, say, and you know that flasher's going to be thumping bottom.
So that's where that's and I forgot. That is actually where he's just kind of really used to running that program.
Yeah. And I know the fishery he's fishing down there, and for that fishery, it might be
go to our
useful.
new comments, Clint.
With the live scope, I can see right where my gear is. I don't need to pound bottom, and I still say if you hit bottom too much with that dropper, it's going to go up into your bumper and now creates a massive tangle.
Yep.
Agree?
I am like a KISS method. Yes, sir.
Keep
Make
it
it on
simple,
a dropper. What pound test? We already talked about 50-50. I like droppers in shallow water. Run 12 ounce about. Is live scope, live sonar. We're not going to get into it, but is live scope, live sonar worth the investment for 360 fishing? Yes or no?
Me and you did really well before the live scope. It's entertaining, but has it made us that much better? Maybe a little bit. It tells me when I got grass on my gear, so maybe 10%. But you guys, if you go out and get live scope, it's not going to make you catch fish 360 fishing. Watch your thumb. Pay attention to your gear.
Yeah.
Pay attention to colors that are working at different times.
Yeah,
and
you know, you're right. We did catch a lot of fish. I'd say there was one area that really showed some differences in like what our theory was and like how we were approaching how we were fishing, like especially with those cross tides at buoy 10.
Yeah.
Where our line angles and thumps and like, okay. Sometimes like certain line angles and thumps at buoy 10 at 50 on the counter, you think you're at 45 feet. Sometimes you're not. You're at like 25 feet. You don't know it because the line angle is the same at the surface and the thump is the same, but the lines do different. There's some like kind of cool things.
Now there's other fisheries we do. The live scope is an absolute game changer for tributary stuff, different kinds of techniques. I'm not gonna.
It's definitely. I mean, it's another tool. I mean, it's no different than
Clint,
it's
what?
no different.
You don't want us to talk guide training 101?
Well, I mean, if you have a 360 flasher and a live, you're a guide now.
Yeah, you're a guide.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay.
Just don't get a removable windshield so you can't see over it.
Yeah. Well, carrying gear never tangles. He told me himself. Ben, you're right. And guess what? Today, my guys went out to Woodland and we never tangled a rod and we killed all our fish. It was absolutely freaking amazing. Got multiple fish over 20. My guys the day before, not so much. It's all good.
Ben tangles.
No, I don't think did we tangle out there, Ben? Oh, we did. We did a little bit on the first day because people.
Jared, I'm half Russian.
But the second day we didn't. I know that. We're good. We're good.
Is that hitting bottom?
Hitting bottom.
Hitting bottom.
Hitting bottom. All right. Okay. You can get them on. You can get some on yarn and hook. Yeah, you can. Bring that yarn and hook right out to the middle of Columbia right now. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Moving on. Actually, not moving on. Moving out. Ryan, you got any days open this week? Next week?
I do.
Next week for fishing locally, Portland, Vancouver.
I'll be in
Lewis,
your backyard.
Cowles. You'll be somewhere between Portland and Longview, not in my backyard. It's my backyard.
I'll be in your backyard, buddy.
Oh, gosh. Great. I got to follow.
And I do have quite a few days open this week, actually. I thought I'd be back down at 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪. I thought fishing would be better there. It's not. It's definitely the fish are moving up the system, and I have Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday open this next week, you guys. And I think it's going to be the peak of a lot of the Chinook coming through in the Middle River area from Longview to Bonneville Dam with the rain and the weather we've had. So
I think you're going to need to be like the next few weeks. You know, and I'm getting a little bit not screwed, right? I just have to go back down to 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪 tomorrow. Like I try to adjust to. Jim says Cameron's gear doesn't tangle. It's the client that causes a tangle. 1,000% fact. Oh, you'll love this. So somebody we know, I won't mention his name, did the 7-day thing with Marlin, and they tangled all day, freaking all day. Their back rods tangling left and right, because it was the current that was doing it. I'm like, you're right, it is the current doing it, but you're not reacting to the current as far as the boat driver. So he came out.
Intrigued.
So he came out fishing with me all day. We never tangled a single flasher all day.
Yeah,
all day. Anyways,
I have.
We're not talking about
everyone has a different way they put out their gear.
Yeah.
For me, over the years, and especially over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been really adamant about. I get all my rods in the holder.
There's a process to doing it.
And in my speech in the morning, I actually turn my clicker on and I show the people the sound of what speed they should be letting out of line. It's not a race to get it out there, but the captain has to have the proper RPM, and then I drop back rods, middle rods, bow rods.
Yeah. So I drop all mine at the same time, but I have a different program. Doesn't matter. What we were saying is that we try. You mentioned something about like chasing the fish up to Bonneville, and like over the next few weeks with these rain temperatures we're gaming, we're not getting locked up by a 10-day high pressure right now. No. Like you are going to want to be a little bit versatile. You're going to want to move around. But you guys, you said the fishing was like bad at 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪. I can tell you, like the guys down at 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪 freaking ripped them today. Ripped them a new one.
It's not bad.
It is spreading the fish.
Here's the thing.
And instead of calling it bad, I just wanted to say that this weather we're having is spreading the fish out. Like there's already fish up in some of the tributaries.
I guess I backed it up. It's not bad. Fishing is
It's not
good,
like the fish are
but
gone.
guys that have been there for 3 weeks, we're tired of letting them go, you guys.
Well,
We're straight up.
Regulations.
I'm ready to bonk them, kill those big brights, and quit letting go of the brights and killing 28-inch mediocre fish.
Right. There are different regulations as you move up the river and as you move into other tributaries. Some of those regulations shut down or even open back up.
And did you see one of our friends made it out in the ocean today and roundhoused them on?
There's still plenty of fish coming. So I wanted to say, you're like, oh, 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪, we moved upriver because 𝗛𝗘𝗟𝗪 fishing is bad.
No.
It is not bad. We are having a stellar year in the Northwest. There's still plenty more to come. I just wanted to emphasize that. I think he meant the fish are spreading out and we live upriver, so we went home.
There's other options, and with the regulations for me, the only place you can't kill them is down there. So me and you and a lot of people have decided, let's go get them where we catch them and we can kill them and take them home for our clients.
I can sleep in my own bed. Sorry.
And I get to sleep
I'm
on
old.
your, and I get to sleep on
You
your
get to sleep
couch.
on my couch tonight. Great.
I'm glad we're both going down there to enjoy the rain
I know.
tomorrow.
We got one more day tomorrow. All right, guys. Okay, so hit up Riverside, guys. Hit up Ryan. Give him a call. Get out fishing. Good opportunity. And I can tell you, like, if you get out with them next week, you know, you're going to get an opportunity to really see the fishery, learn some stuff. And the way I think that this run is coming in, it's going to have legs. Hopefully we'll get extensions after the 15th. The last 3 years we have. Doesn't mean we will this year. Maybe the fish come early and we kill them all. I don't know. It's always a state of flux.
But definitely,
in the
I would
Northwest.
suggest it.
But you'll learn something, and you'll still get to have a lot of the season to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And get in on any of us guides that have availability between now and the 15th, because we don't know what the future will be after that. I know for me, after that, if it's open, I'm going to stay on the Chinook. If not, I'm going to start targeting tributary coho. There's stuff that's going to be really good this year.
There's going to be stuff to fish for. I tell my clients, I'm like, from now till Halloween, let's go.
Yep.
Like, we'll go have a fish. I mean, even with shutdowns and regulations, there's going to be something good. You might have to change technique, like you said.
And like I
fish the
said,
coho,
with this colder temperatures and more rain, it just means healthier fish in all these river systems.
numbers are going to look good at traps. Numbers are going to look good over the dam. Like, well, we're optimistic. We'll see some other extensions later on and just keep a good thing going, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, Zerofit USA, 20% off using that code ADX20 for those guys on the base layer. If you tuned in late tonight, please go back and check out the live feed on the old YouTube channel. You'll get to meet our special guest, Doug, and check out a new product that is helping out Addicted Fishing. We'd love to help them out. Please support them anytime you guys can. Give Ryan a call. Do some fishing next
People
week.
are saying,
do some
where do you
killing.
find it? Look us up on Facebook, or you can look us up riversideguide.com. Or Riverside Guide Service on Facebook. My wife does all the booking. She's very good at communicating with people, and look forward to getting you guys out.
Yep.
Let's go smash on some big fall kings.
And next week, probably some live fishing. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys then. Peace. Outie here.